Hi there, my name is Denali. I just found out yesterday that I am pregnant with my first child. I suffered in a chemical pregnancy, which if you don't know what that means I had an early loss miscarriage. That was back in September on the 19th of 2015. My doctor told me that I needed to wait for 3 months before I could begin trying again, and I recognize that there's a lot of varying opinions as to whether or not that's necessary. But we went ahead and we decided to take our doctor's advice, and we waited for 3 months. That meant that this December cycle, we were able to start trying again. So we did. My last menstrual period was on December 11th, 2015. And I just found out yesterday on New Year's Day that we are in fact pregnant for a second time. This will be our first child that we are attempting. So we're very excited about that. The first time that we became pregnant, I knew it for a few days ahead of time. I didn't tell my husband yet because we were about to go on vacation in Mexico, and I thought it'd be really cool to wait until we got there and let him know then, and it'd be really romantic. And it was wonderful. But unfortunately the next day we ended up losing that one. So yeah, that was very upsetting. Those things happen sometimes. Since then, we've just been biding our time and waiting for what we could try again. This time I did things a little bit differently. I thought, since I kept my husband kind of in the dark and made everything a surprise the first time around, this time I would include him in the process. I took my first pregnancy test on December 29th, and I'm not really sure when I ovulated. If I had to guess, I would say probably on like the 22nd of December, which our wedding anniversary is on the 23rd. So, wedding anniversary, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, boom, 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 romantic moments, all in a row like that. But on the 29th, yeah, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was completely negative. I used a first response early result. And so I waited a couple of days, and on the 31st of December, I took another one, and I got AJ out of bed. That's my husband. Maybe it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's been on vacation all week, Christmas vacation. So he'd stayed up so late, and he, barely could keep his eyes open. He comes into the bathroom, I showed it to him, and at first he's like, no, there's nothing there. But of course, after a minute or two, he's like, okay, wait a second. Maybe I see a line, but I don't know if I see any pink. I explained to him what an indent and an evaporation line are. And he said, I can't really tell you for sure that I see any color. So the next day, on New Year's Day, that would have been yesterday, I took another first response early result and immediately got AJ out of bed again. And that time, he said, oh, yep, it's there, it's pink. And so we considered that our big fat positive. So this morning when I woke up, January 2nd, I took another test. I was kind of conflicted about whether or not to do that, because the reason why I took another one is I wanted to see if my HCG levels are rising or not. With our first pregnancy, I had taken, many pregnancy tests, and even after I found out I was pregnant, and I noticed that the line was not as dark. At first it was strong, and then it was kind of dropping off. And I had read on the internet that that was probably a sign of an incoming miscarriage. Of course, I didn't want to believe that, so I just hoped the best, and sure enough, it did end in a miscarriage. So today I had mixed feelings. I'm like, should I take another pregnancy test, and kind of compare to see whether or not the HCG is rising, or should I just believe the best, hope the best, and unless I have any bleeding, not really worry about it? I think that if I hadn't been so impatient, I would have chosen to just wait and see if there's any problems, but I went ahead and took it anyway. And the good news is that it's stronger today than it was yesterday, so that is a highly encouraging sign. And it is so weird because, maybe there's nothing to it at all, but with my first pregnancy, I was so excited. It's the very first time I've ever gotten a positive pregnancy test. But even before I came out of the bathroom, I kind of knew deep down that it just wasn't gonna last. I had that feeling. And sure enough, it didn't. This time around, however, I feel like this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the time. I don't think anything bad is gonna happen. So I'm holding on to that intuition, I suppose, and I'm hoping that it means something, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, you know, just do what I gotta do to stay healthy, and it'll be okay no matter what happens. So since I have a positive pregnancy test, my due date is now September 16th, 2016. Of course, that could change after I get my first ultrasound and they take a look at the baby and how it's growing. I haven't been able to schedule that yet because it's been the holidays and now it's the weekend. So on Monday, I'll go ahead and make a phone call and schedule an appointment. I'm guessing it'll be very early February because they don't typically like to take you before 8 weeks. Presently, I am 3 weeks and 1 day pregnant, so I found out very early. Honestly, my period is not even due until next Friday on the 8th. So I was just testing so early, and apparently it wasn't too early because I got the positives that I wanted. So now I'll just hope that they stay positive. In the meantime, I could go ahead and I have all the extra time to celebrate, plan, be happy, and enjoy what's coming down for us. So at this time, I don't know how many of these video journals I'm going to make. You know, it'd be wonderful in a perfect world to be able to say, oh yeah, I'll make one every week, but we all know how life goes and that might not necessarily happen, so I'm not gonna promise anything at the moment. There's plenty more that I can say at this point, but I think I'll save it for another time. In the meantime, I'll just give you stats. I am 5 foot 2 inches. I weigh 115 pounds pre-pregnancy. It's funny because before my first pregnancy a few months ago, I weighed 110 and I've gained 5 pounds since then. And I've also gained a cup size or more too. So I don't know if I just started eating a lot more heavily. I don't think my diet really changed, or if just that short amount of time that I had those hormones, because I only made it to week 5, if that could really change everything. But yeah, so I am up to 115 now. Okay, so I guess I'll give you a belly shot. Let's see, move this over. So there I am. 3 weeks, 1 day. Okay. Nothing really to see yet. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions for me. I would really like to, you know, get to know some people who are close to me in this stage of pregnancy. Anybody who, you know, even if you're not pregnant or even if you're not even close to the stage of life, you know, I'd love to hear from you.